Hey YouTube land, this is Tycanders here doing another toy review. Now it's been a while since I've done a few reviews, so this is for something I picked up recently enough, which is the Alien Covenant Neca Xenomorph figures. Well, one's a Xenomorph. Technically I think it was originally supposed to be called a Protomorph, and then it was renamed to Xenomorph. And then the other one is the Neomorph, or the Spine Burster. So the kind of paley white one is the Neomorph, as indicated on the front of its box, and the other one is just called the Xenomorph. I think it was listed as New Creature as well, which is the other way it was called. So for the packaging, they come in identical boxes. So it has artwork of, I think it's supposed to be artwork for the Xenomorph or the Neo on the front of the box. And then you have a creepy face on the side of the box with Alien Covenant. Alien is in big words, Covenant is in really tiny font, it's really hard to make out. And then on the back of the box it has a brief bio about more about the movie than the creatures in the boxes, and then it has I think it's either an artwork image or it's a photograph of the actual figure. I'm not sure if this is artwork or photograph. It looks more like a photograph. And then two images of artwork as well. And it's similar on the back of the box as the Neomorph, and the write-up is identical. So it basically just says, Ridley Scott returns to the universe he created with Alien Covenant, a new chapter in his groundbreaking Alien franchise. The crew of the colony ship Covenant, bound for a remote planet on the far side of the galaxy, discovers what they think is an uncharted paradise, but is actually a dark, dangerous world. When they uncover a threat beyond their imagination, they must attempt a harrowing escape. So that's it for the boxes. As I said, they're in identical boxes, except I think the Neomorph is slightly smaller, but the build of the boxes are the same. So on to the creatures themselves. So I'll go with the Neomorph first, and then I'll go on to the Xeno. So Neomorph is this really weird, creepy, white, pale-skinned thing. Is about the best way to describe it. It does have an alternative head. This is the head that comes in the box, and I kind of prefer this head to this one. This weird kind of almost closed mouth, sucky face, kind of over this kind of almost double jaw style. It's kind of like a step between the Deacon from the Prometheus film and the Xenomorph. It's kind of like the in-between step, but it's quite articulated. It has hinges in the elbows, and you can rotate the hinges in the wrists, and can rotate the wrists all around. He has almost double jointed elbows. He has a swivel and a elbow joint, and then he has arms on ball pegs, so you can rotate them all the way around and go in and out. He also has a upper waist crunch, which is on a ball joint, so you can get a good range of movement. And then the legs are on kind of ball joints as well, so they don't go out too much. You can get them into because it has kind of a bipedal and an also running pose in the movie, you can actually get it into a kind of a running position, which is quite creepy. So you can get in a really weird running position. The neck is on a ball joint. As you can see here, you have the ball joint here, and then has a hinge, or a ratchet hinge, so you can angle the head back if you want, or you can angle it forward. Now I don't like swapping out the heads on this if it's been kind of cold, or like the weather has been recently. If I find that with NECA figures, or with figures in general, if the weather's been kind of cold and you try swapping out stuff that has swappable joints like heads and necks and arms and stuff, the peg tends to be brittle, or can be brittle and can snap. It's always best to kind of heat up the joint before exchange or replacing it with the other one. But on this figure I haven't heated it up. Also, it has ankle swivel and ankle articulation, so the ankles can go forward and back, and then there's a slight hinge at the toes, at the front of the toes, except for the kind of the big toe at the front. The rest of the toes all have a ankle articulation, or articulated point, and then he has double hinged knees and has a swivel at the knee as well. So all in all, it's quite a creepy looking design of a creature. I did see the movie. I haven't seen the movie since watching it in the cinema, so it's been a while, but I remember it being very fast and agile in the movie, and you don't get to see it too clearly very well. It also comes with this thing, which is the chest burster version of it, if you want to call it a chest burster, or the spine burster, I think it was called. So it's like a really skinny, non-articulated figure. It doesn't even have the bendy wire in the tail, but it's covered in blood because it's supposed to simulate that it's just burst out of someone and it's on the run. But it's a very small and creepy, smaller scale version of the large Neomorph. Then on to the Xenomorph. So the Xenomorph has pretty much the same articulation as the Neo, same kind of wrist articulation. It has the double jaw of the standard alien. You can get the double jaw to pop out. It's a bit tricky on my one. It doesn't like to pop out too well, so bear with me. Come on. It does have it, it just doesn't want to cooperate today for some reason. But it does have a double jaw. In fact, the double jaw on it is actually really longer than the standard Xenomorph one. So let me see if I can get something that I can use to kind of pull it out without damaging it. But it does get trapped up in the head, unfortunately. Okay, I managed to get the mouth out. Sorry if there's a little bit of a jump there. I have to actually pause the video and I'm going to redo it again, or turn the camera back on again. So you can see the inner jaw is quite long on it. Mine does have a little bit of I think it's the glue where they glue the dome on is a bit rubbed on the face. And one thing I should note, when I did take this guy out of the box, I did manage to nearly break one of these spines off. I thought they were imposable, because in the movie, when it does its head flat back, the spines kind of jut out to the side, and I thought Neca had put an articulation point so you could actually simulate that from the movie, but it doesn't have it. So you have the standard kind of forward back hip articulation, double jointed knees. Again, this is able to do a running pose. It has the same articulation on the feet as the Neomorph does, except this time it has the full set of toes that articulate, and then it also has that kind of secondary ankle articulation point as well. So you can go forward and back in that, and then it has a bendy wire tail. In fact, I forgot to mention, on the Neomorph it also has a small bendy wire tail as well. And all in all, the design for this guy is quite creepy, but also quite cool. He's a really, really tall Xenomorph. He does have a bit trouble standing. I kind of wish Neca had included a display stand for him, kind of like what they did with the Alien 3 alien, the runner alien, and the one from the Alien Isolation game. But just so you can see a comparison, here he is next to my Kenner inspired big chap. As you can see, I have the mouth extended, and you see how long the inner mouth for the Xenomorph from Alien Covenant is massive. Well, not massive, but it's really, really long. Now, this one is from the AVP 2-pack, the Kenner inspired 2-pack. That's why it doesn't have the clear dome. It should have a dome somewhat similar to this, so you should be able to see the skull inside, but the one, I never got the original big chap, so it's a slightly different paint job and has that all black dome. But for this figure itself, the Alien Covenant Xenomorph, it's really, really cool. I do recommend getting it. The only thing I didn't get from the series is the, was it called, I think it's the Creature Pack it's called. So it comes with eggs, face huggers, and some more kind of small baby, I think it comes with another version of the Spine Burster, but I think it's a clear version. It doesn't have all the blood splatter on it, but it's a really cool sculpt. So all in all, I do recommend picking these up. They're quite a good set of figures, even though they haven't, I don't think Neca have any plans to do any of the human characters that were in the film, which is a shame, because there was some kind of cool characters that would be kind of cool to have figures of. But other than that, this is what they gave us. So it's three three sets or three figure set. Technically, it's the two aliens, the Neomorph, the Xenomorph, and the egg set. So there you go, guys. Just a quick video review for the Aliens Covenant NECA figures. Do recommend getting them if you can get them. Do watch out for the spine on, or the back spines on the Xenomorph. When you're taking them out of the box, they can be a little bit fragile. So other than that, I do recommend picking them up, and if you can, try and get them at reasonable prices. So there you go, guys. Just a quick video review, and as I say in my reviews, if you like my reviews, click like. If you want to subscribe to my channel, feel free to subscribe, and feel free to comment in the comment section below. Cheers, guys.